that can only mean trouble and a lot of hard work. Morning, it's another fine, beautiful sunny day here in Eastern North Carolina, and today is the day. It's the day. Got some mulch, I got some compost underneath all of that. I need to turn around and put all that stuff away or move it to where it's going to be temporarily. But today is the day that I'm going to start the next project. Let me start putting this away and I'll tell you more about it in a second.
Many hours later.
I didn't film all of me removing the compost and the bark that I got. I got 20 bags of each. That's going to be enough to get me by for a little while. There's so many projects that I need to do that are coming up that should get done, and it's getting windy, so if you hear any wind, I do apologize. I always try to get that out in the editing. Either way, that, well, like I said, will carry me for a little while. But the timber that I got, that is for, if you haven't guessed by now, expanding the flower beds. And we're going to be expanding along the driveway here. So, I'm going to start moving timbers. We'll have some music, some fast motion, and you'll see how this starts working out. I'm going to need these measuring tapes. Okay, so now one of the things that I knew that was going to happen when I measured this out was I was going to have a short piece. And I decided instead of cutting down a piece, I was going to make a pass-through. Because if I left this as one solid bed with no walkway through, if I was in all the way back here at the back of the flower garden, or the front, depending upon how you look at it, I would have to walk all the way around and out through the entrance over there someplace. So I'm going to make a cut through here, and it'll be smaller. It won't be 12 feet across like the entrance to the flower garden. It'll be smaller. Now let's see how maybe small it will be. So I just did a quick measure, and the existing gap right now that I have is about 6 feet 2 inches roughly. None of this is set in stone. There's no precise measurements. This is not precise mathematics, and this is probably not the best way to lay out a bed, but this is the way I'm doing it. So 6 feet is okay, but I'm not crazy at the 2 inches. So what I may wind up doing is just shifting the bed from the end where it is now at the towards the street inwards a little bit. That's fine. This is just a little adjusting. But what I kind of want to do today is get that rough shape in place and show you what it is that I'm doing, and then I'll explain the further steps that you'll probably see in future videos. So let me go muck around some more with the boards here, the timbers, and then I'll talk about the next step. Okay, whew. It's a little toasty out. It's not as bad as it's been. It's about 80 degrees today, and there is a pretty strong breeze, which is very nice. But still, that's sun. Anyways, so here's the existing flower bed, and then here's the extension. I do have one extra piece, that's fine. I accounted for that when I placed my order. But as you can see, it goes down, and then we have a break for a walkway that'll cut through. Now, if you've been paying attention, you'll know that I'm going to basically do the same thing all along the front, and then where the end of that bed is, I'm going to continue all the way down to the street. So this way, it's basically an enclosed room. It'll be surrounded by hedging. I do have box growing right now. It's growing slowly, but again, this is what plants do. Let me show you the sprinter at the corner here. It's probably the earliest that I've planted. Earliest box, I should say. Oh, they're growing pretty quick. Pretty quick. They'll probably be about 4 foot high when all is said and done. So I'll have a 4 foot wide, not 4 foot wide, 4 foot tall boxwood hedge all the way around. Actually, towards the orchard, I might let it go to 5 or 6. I'm not sure yet. I can always let it grow, right? First, it's got to get to 4 foot. And then I got to keep it trimmed and maintained. That's a whole other story for another day. But for today, we're growing down. This is what we're doing. This is the next phase. It's not done. Apparently on the inside here, I have about 8 inches that I'm off. The property is not perfectly rectangular. In fact, it's more wedge shaped. So it gets to a narrow point down that way. And when I mean narrow, it's only, let's say, 100 feet across at that end versus the driveway side, which is about 250. This will actually give a more finished look, at least to this one side of the driveway. On the other side of the driveway, I have those boxes, which I want to be a hedge. And one day they will grow down, or I will add more one day, hopefully soon. So I'm going to fiddle with this probably over the next day or two. I'll work it out, figure it out. I may want to try to take my mower through that gap and see if I can get my ride-on through there easily. And that, again, I may wind up doing adjustments. I may wind up cutting timbers. I never intended to cut timbers. I thought I measured it out correctly enough that I wouldn't have to cut timbers, but if I have to cut some of these timbers, I'll cut some of these timbers. It's not the end of the world. Let me show you the street side here. So here's the timber, and again, it's going to go down towards the telephone pole down there. Now, it won't go all the way down towards the telephone pole, but it's going to head in that direction. And again, it'll cut back up towards the dahlias that are planted out. So this, adding in, now the total length of just this one side is 94 feet. 94 feet, that's a lot of bedding. 8 foot deep beds, in case you were wondering. And again, the gap right now I have about 5.5 feet. But I may wind up changing that in the, I have no idea how bloggers do the whole blogging thing while holding the camera up, because my arm's getting tired. Oh, man, I just got weak shoulders. Anyways, so I will be, again, tweaking the design. Once I get everything exactly where I want it, then I will drill the holes. There'll be 2 holes in each board. Let me show you how that works out. So if we look down at this stud, there you go. There's one spike. And if we come all the way down here, there's another spike. And then there's one for the next board. So I will secure all of those in place once I get everything exactly the way I want it. Again, I'll be fiddling with it the next couple of days. I keep repeating myself, and I do apologize. So the next step will be to turn around and weed whack all this down to the very ground as tight as I can get it. I will take my broad fork. I will try to loosen up the soil some. I will put down gypsum. That will, again, help to loosen up that soil. I'll put down some Espoma Soil Perfect. It's like a rock. It's a pumicey rock. And then I overlay the whole section with cardboard. On top of the cardboard goes the compost, and then I plant out into the compost. If I start doing this now in the fall/winter, then when the springtime comes around, most of that cardboard should be rotted away. And then what lies beneath will still be pretty hard soil. But again, as I work on amending the soil over time, it will just get softer and softer, and I can dig deeper and deeper. It's the same process I used for all of this. Same process. So if you haven't seen those videos, go back, watch those videos. I don't remember for the life of me what those video numbers are, but if you haven't watched those videos, please go back. It's probably like building the flower garden or building the new dahlia garden. Speaking of new dahlias, let's go look at those dahlias real quick. So I've had some winners and losers. I don't know what this pink one is, but it's surviving and growing. The white one, spectacular. I have to do a bit of deadheading on that, but spectacular. No idea what the name is. I have to go back, and maybe there's a tag buried underneath all that someplace. A lot of the other dahlias are really starting to grow up, starting to do their thing. Here's hiding back behind the pot. That's Salvia, or Sylvia. I apologize, Sylvia. Down here, I've got inflammation. This has been a real surprise to me this year, and it is absolutely spectacular. And it just keeps putting out all these little flowers. Are they not wonderful? They are just wonderful. Yes, I have to get in here and do some deadheading too. Oh, and here's another one. Pretty Woman, Dark Angel. That one was a good performer for me last year. This year, it's doing all right. It's surviving. And that's the most important thing. Year one, new garden beds here, is that these survive. And I've got some more mulch to finish mulching out the areas which I have yet to put planted. I've already ordered more dahlias for next year, so that's that'll be cool. I'll finish filling out this space. In the meantime, new beds are being laid out. There's so much more to come. The garden is growing. It's going to keep expanding. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Click that bell icon to be notified when I do post up a new video so you can see what new antics and shenanigans I'm getting into. If you have a garden or you like to garden or you're building your own garden, please let me know below. And maybe if enough of you respond, which nobody ever really responds, but if enough of you respond, we'll do something like, you know, showing pictures of your gardens and sharing with everybody and seeing what your stuff looks like. You know, everybody's got to start someplace. I'm starting here, Eastern North Carolina, growing zone 8A on 1.5 acres. That's going to do it for today. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.